He was the golden boy, the all-American icon, the face that launched 1,000 daydreams. But Robert Redford's story isn't what you think it is. Behind the dazzling smile and Hollywood stardom was a man wrestling with demons. Grief, self-doubt, the suffocating weight of fame. A man who lost 2 sons, who battled alcoholism, who was chronically late to his own film sets. And yet, he built an empire for artists the industry had forgotten. He directed some of cinema's most powerful films. He became one of America's most important environmental voices. This is the story of how a troubled kid from California became a legend, not by being perfect, but by refusing to stop growing. The Boy Who Fought Back. August 18, 1936, Santa Monica, California. Charles Robert Redford Jr. enters the world. His father, an accountant. His mother, a homemaker. A working-class family chasing the American dream. But life had other plans. When Bobby was just 11 years old, polio struck. It was 1947, before Jonas Salks's vaccine. Children were dying. Others were paralyzed for life. For weeks, the Redford family held their breath. Would their son survive? Would he walk again? He did both. But that brush with death planted something inside him. A quiet toughness. A refusal to be defeated. By his teens, Bobby had found his escape. Sports. Baseball became his lifeline. He was good enough to earn a scholarship to the University of Colorado. But then, tragedy struck again. 1954. Bobby was 18 when his mother Martha died suddenly from septicemia, a blood infection that ravaged her body before doctors could stop it. He was shattered. The woman who'd nursed him through polio, who'd believed in him when no one else did, gone. And he spiraled. Alcohol became his escape. He drank too much, missed practices, stopped caring. The university revoked his scholarship and kicked him out. At 19, Robert Redford was a college dropout with no plan and no future. So he ran. He scraped together money and bought a one-way ticket to Europe, Paris, Florence, Madrid. For months he wandered, painting, sketching, absorbing art in museums and cafes. It was in those quiet moments, staring at Renaissance paintings, watching street performers, that something clicked. He didn't want to be an accountant. He didn't want to play baseball. He wanted to create, to tell stories, to act. When he returned to America, he enrolled at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York. And that's where Robert Redford, the star, was born. Becoming the Sundance Kid, the late 1950s, Broadway. Redford wasn't a movie star yet. He was a theater actor, hungry, ambitious, learning his craft one stage at a time. 1963. His breakthrough came with Barefoot in the Park, a romantic comedy by Neil Simon. As newlywed Paul Bratter, Redford was charming, witty, effortlessly magnetic. Audiences loved him. Critics noticed him. Hollywood came calling. 1969. Everything changed. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Opposite Paul Newman, already a superstar, Redford played the Sundance Kid, the sharpshooter with ice-blue eyes and a devil-may-care grin. Their chemistry was electric. The film became a cultural phenomenon. It grossed over $100 million, a massive sum in 1969. Robert Redford was now a bona fide movie star. 1973. He reunited with Newman for The Sting, a Depression-era con artist caper. The film won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Redford earned his first Best Actor nomination. He was unstoppable, handsome, talented, rich, famous. But behind the scenes, cracks were forming. Robert Redford had a problem. He was always late. Not 5 minutes, not 10, sometimes 40 minutes, sometimes hours. During The Sting, Paul Newman finally confronted him. "This isn't just about you, Bob," Newman reportedly said. "There are 200 people waiting every time you stroll in." The issue persisted for years. On The Milagro Beanfield War, which Redford directed and produced, crew members waited for hours while he worked through creative decisions in his head. Screenwriter David S. Ward later recalled production delays costing the studio thousands. Even at Sundance, his own festival, actors auditioning for projects sometimes waited half a day for him to arrive. In recent years, Redford has acknowledged this flaw. "I was consumed by the work," he said in a 2018 interview. "But I didn't always respect other people's time. That's something I regret." It's a rare admission, proof that even legends have blind spots. The director emerges. By the late 1970s, Robert Redford wanted more than stardom. He wanted control. He wanted to tell stories his way. So he became a director. 1980, his directorial debut, Ordinary People. A devastating drama about a family torn apart by grief, guilt, and secrets they can't speak aloud. The film was raw, intimate, uncomfortable, and it was brilliant. At the 1981 Oscars, Ordinary People won Best Picture. Robert Redford won Best Director. In his acceptance speech, he was humble, almost surprised. "I didn't expect this," he said quietly. But the industry knew. Redford wasn't just a pretty face. He was a filmmaker with vision and depth. 1992, A River Runs Through It. Based on Norman Maclean's beloved novella, the film told the story of two brothers raised by a stern Presbyterian minister in early 20th century Montana. The cinematography was stunning, the performances understated and powerful. It became both a critical and commercial success, proof that Redford could handle poetic, lyrical storytelling. 1994, Quiz Show. Redford tackled America's 1950s television quiz show scandals, when popular game shows were rigged and contestants were fed answers for ratings. The film explored moral corruption, ambition, and the cost of fame. It earned Redford another Oscar nomination for Best Director. Through his directing, Redford revealed what truly fascinated him: flawed people making difficult choices, families fracturing under pressure, the thin line between integrity and compromise. It was personal. It always had been. The cost of fame. Robert Redford became one of the most famous men in the world. But fame came with a price he never anticipated. "You stop being a person," he said in a 2015 interview. "You become an object. People project onto you. They think they know you, but they don't." He described fame as unfolding in 3 stages. First, you become an object in other people's eyes. Second, you start seeing yourself as that object. And third, if you're not careful, you lose yourself entirely. In 1958, Redford married Lola Van Wagenen. Together, they had 4 children. But their first child, Scott, died just months after birth, from sudden infant death syndrome. It was a loss so profound, Redford rarely spoke about it publicly. "You don't recover from something like that," he said in a rare interview. "You just learn to carry it." Determined to protect his remaining children, Redford enrolled them in regular schools, far from Hollywood's glare. He wanted them to have normal lives, childhoods free from the burden of his fame. 2020. Another devastating blow. His son James, a filmmaker and environmental advocate, died at 58 from bile duct cancer. James had battled liver disease since childhood. He'd undergone 2 liver transplants and dedicated his life to raising awareness about organ donation. In 2005, father and son co-founded the Redford Center, an organization supporting environmental filmmakers. In a statement after James's death, Redford wrote simply, "The grief is immeasurable, but so is the love. 2 sons lost, a mother gone too soon, a career that demanded everything. Robert Redford's life was never the fairy tale his movies suggested, but through it all, he kept creating, kept fighting, kept evolving." Sundance, a gift to the artists. Robert Redford founded the Sundance Institute in Park City, Utah. His mission was simple: give independent filmmakers a chance. Redford knew what it felt like to fight for unconventional projects. To be told your story didn't fit the Hollywood mold. So he created Sundance, a festival where bold voices could be heard. At first, it was modest, a few screenings, a handful of filmmakers. But it grew. 1992. A young filmmaker named Quentin Tarantino premiered Reservoir Dogs at Sundance. The industry took notice. Tarantino became a household name. Steven Soderbergh broke through with Sex, Lies, and Videotape, winning the Audience Award in 1989. Year after year, Sundance launched careers, gave voices to women, people of color, LGBTQ+ filmmakers, artists Hollywood had ignored. Today, it's the largest independent film festival in the United States. An Inconvenient Truth, The Cove, Whiplash, Little Miss Sunshine, all premiered at Sundance. For Redford, Sundance was never about money or prestige. It was about giving back, about creating space for the next generation. "If I'm remembered for anything," he said, "I hope it's Sundance." The activist. But Redford's legacy extends beyond film. For over 50 years, he's been one of America's most passionate environmental activists. In the 1970s, he fought against nuclear expansion in California. In the 1980s, he testified before Congress on renewable energy and climate change. He's championed Native American rights, supporting educational programs and advocating for cultural preservation. He opposed the Keystone XL pipeline, calling it an ecological disaster waiting to happen. He's spoken at United Nations climate summits, lobbied for endangered species protections, funded documentaries exposing environmental destruction. "I've had privilege," he said in 2019. "The least I can do is use it for something that matters." And he has, relentlessly. The man at 87. Today, Robert Redford is 87 years old. He lives quietly with his wife, Sibyl Sagars, whom he married in 1991, 6 years after divorcing Lola Van Wagenen. He paints, he reads, he spends time in the mountains he fought so hard to protect. He still attends Sundance, though he stepped back from day-to-day operations, passing the torch to a new generation. Looking back, Redford has said he wouldn't change anything. Not the grief, not the mistakes, not the struggles. "Every part of my life taught me something," he said. "I wouldn't be who I am without it." Robert Redford was never perfect. He was late. He was stubborn. He carried wounds he never fully healed. But he never stopped growing, never stopped creating, never stopped fighting for what mattered. Some stars burn bright and fade. Robert Redford, he just kept evolving. What legacy do you want to leave behind? Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more untold stories of Hollywood's greatest legends.